Bottoms up. Man, classic, delicious bowl of chili. It is hitting all of the notes that I want. What's going on, everybody? My name is John Serwin, and this is my kitchen. Welcome. Today, I'm gonna show you how I made this, some nice homemade beef chili. It's one of the favorites at the Firehouse, and kind of what built the Firehouse cook basis was off of chili. So I'm gonna show you my roadmap to a chili recipe that you can take in all different ways. Show you the techniques and how it's done coming up. Stay tuned. For our chili, we have here 3 pounds of ground beef. This is 85/15 ground beef, and we are gonna get a little bit scientific here. In this bowl, I have 2 tablespoons of water, or 30 milliliters, also known as 30 grams, and 7 grams of baking soda. You do half of a teaspoon of baking soda per pound of meat. Dissolve it in 2 tablespoons of water, and we will work it into the meat. What this is gonna end up doing is it's gonna help with browning, help retain moisture while cooking it up, crisp it up, but still be juicy. I'm gonna go in with like fork fingers, would be a good way to put it. I'm trying not to squeeze it, but I do wanna incorporate this around. So keep it like a claw, move her around. Remember, we're not making meatballs or meatloaf, so let's not squeeze it. All right, that's good enough for me. I am gonna let that sit for 20 minutes. Over at the stovetop, we're gonna get our burner onto some medium heat, and we are gonna take our poblano pepper and just place it right in the center. Let that start getting fire roasted. This will blister up the skin of the poblano pepper. There you go, you can hear some popping. We're gonna fire roast this up on all sides. This is what you want. You want it to start getting darkened like that. Do a quick flip. There you have it. All right, I'm gonna throw it into this bowl. We're gonna put some plastic wrap on it, let it sit. We're gonna do this other one here too, but throw some plastic wrap on it, let that condensation build up, and then we'll be able to wipe that skin off with a paper towel. It's now been 20 minutes and our poblanos have roasted and steamed. Now, I'm gonna try and keep this plastic wrap here to make the cleanup a little easier. Grab some paper towel and just start wiping off that skin right there. And it should come off relatively easily. All the roasty toasty parts. Not gonna get every last piece of skin, but you know, get as much as you can. Kind of makes it a little more enjoyable. You don't have that waxy type skin in your chili. So here they are. I got them all wiped down, split open, took out the seeds, and you know what was actually a lot easier? Run it under running water in your sink, and guess what? I got mostly all of the skin off, and then all of the seeds on the inside. I'm just gonna give these a nice dice up. We're gonna take 2, I have Vidalia onions this time because sweet onions are coming into season for us here, but use white onions, yellow onions, whatever you want. Take 2 of them, dice them up. 3 jalapenos diced up, seeded and stemmed. For our chili spice mixture, I'm gonna bring in my scale and a little bowl here. I go in at 3 tablespoons or 21 grams of chili powder, 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of some ground cumin. And here's an example of why I like to use grams. So kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt is 18 grams. So to be a little more precise, I just like to go by that because that's about a little over 1% of the total weight of 3 pounds. 3 pounds is like 1,300 some odd grams. 1% would be 13 grams. So this is like a 1.5%, which is kind of right where you want the salinity when you're making up a spice blend. So 18 grams would be 1 tablespoon. Next, we're going in with 7 grams of garlic powder, or granulated garlic in this case. 7 grams onion powder, or granulated onion in this case. 1 tablespoon of Mexican oregano, which is going to be about 3 grams because it's dried. So get out 3 grams. And any big old stems, like, hey, look at that big old stem. Get that out of there. And last but not least, we're going in with 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, or 3 grams. We're gonna have some heat. We can always adjust the heat later because what I do with this, it's known as dump number 1 of the seasoning blend. We put this in when we're cooking down all of our aromatics and beef and everything. And then after about 2 hours, we're gonna taste and do dump number 2 of seasonings. That's when we play around and see what we want to add in. Let me give this a mix up. Smells like chili powder. Looks like chili powder. Tastes like chili powder. Perfect. Over at our stovetop, we are going to grab our nice big enameled cast iron Dutch oven. And after about 20 minutes, I forgot to mention too, I also sprinkled on 2 3-finger pinches of kosher salt, probably about a teaspoon and a half of kosher salt on here. And we are going to get this onto some medium heat and give it a moment to heat up. All right, into the pot we go. Everybody in the pool. We are going to brown this meat up, and we are going to take it out, strain out the grease, and move to our next step. One thing I do want to mention, we do not want to break this up into tiny little pieces just yet. So we're going to let this brown up into some big chunks. We will break it down into smaller pieces later on. We successfully left the ground beef in big chunks because that's what we want to do, is leave it into big chunks. We are now going to take this out, strain it. Next, we are going in with 1 pound of breakfast sausage. If you have homemade, please use that. Full disclosure, I had just run out of my homemade stuff, so I got to make more. I will leave a link in the description for my homemade breakfast sausage recipe. We're going to go ahead and brown this up and get it crumbled into some small bits. Now that our breakfast sausage is browned up and cooked down, we are going to leave that all in there and use the fat from the breakfast sausage to saute up 3 jalapenos we have diced, the 2 onions we diced. Going to do 1 3-finger pinch of some salt, 1.5. Give these a little bit of head start to kind of sweat down and help deglaze the bottom of this pan. They will be sweating a little bit, but we also want them to kind of toast up as well. So constantly moving them around, get them to release their liquid to help deglaze the bottom of the pan, and then saute up in the pork fat. Our jalapenos and onions have been cooking down for 5 minutes now, and they did a pretty good job of deglazing the bottom of this pan. Well, after I add in the poblanos, these were already kind of roasted, so that's why I wanted to give a head start to the onions and peppers. We're also going to go in with our full seasoning blend, and then we are going to microplane in 3 cloves of garlic. Give this a big old stir and start getting some of those fat-soluble flavors and spices in our chili seasoning blend to get coated up with some of the fat from the pork sausage. Oh man, it smells amazing in here right now. Whew, love it. We're going to give this about a good minute until we start smelling the garlic. We are now going to go in with probably my favorite deglazing liquid there is for soup, stews, chilies, a little Worcestershire sauce. So I'll go in with about 15 glugs. Just start working it around to deglaze everything. That just gives a nice little bit of the depth of flavor there. Next, we're going in with 1 whole can, which is 170 grams of tomato paste. Saute that up with the aromatics. Let this cook for a good minute or two, probably 2 minutes. 2 minutes has gone by, and I have some chipotles and adobo sauce. This is about 80 grams worth. That's all I had left in the fridge. I try to go anywhere between 75 to 100 grams worth of the chipotles and adobo. It gives a nice sweetness and smoky hint of flavor in there, which is phenomenal for chili. Since that's already cooked, we're just going to give this a good 30 seconds to kind of incorporate and warm on through. Now we're going to take all of our ground beef and get that back in the pool. I left the ground beef in big chunks because I want it to basically break up when you're moving it around, not beforehand. Next, we're going in with 28 ounces total of some diced tomatoes. This time I went fire roasted. If you can find fire roasted, go for it. If you can find Southwest, go for it. Or just get regular diced tomatoes if you want. If you do get one that is seasoned, just watch the salt intake. Go with a brand you kind of know. Next, we have 28 ounces of some tomato sauce. This is just straight up tomato sauce. I'm going to turn this heat down right now because it's starting to bubble up on me. And we are going to be, guess what, probably close to max capacity again, folks. Maybe I'll buy myself a bigger Dutch oven one of these days. You know, like a 7-quart or something. So I don't flirt with danger every time I'm cooking. But you know what? I think we're going to make it. Because last but not least, we are going in with 3 total cans of some, I know this is controversial. Some people don't do beans in their chili, but this is not a Texas bowl of red. This is a bowl of chili. This is my go-to chili for when we have hot dogs and chili as a lunch at the Firehouse. This isn't exactly my competition chili, or is it? You know, you can't reveal all your secrets. So yeah, this is my go-to chili where it's great on hot dogs, great as a bowl of chili. It's just a really fantastic little utility chili, as I like to call it. We're going to let this come up to a little bit of a simmer, and then we are going to let this cook for 2 hours, not on the stovetop, but in the oven at 275 degrees. Reason we're doing in the oven, it gives a full and total heat coming in from all angles. And what I've noticed too, for chili especially, no matter how low I have it or if I put a diffuser on there, seems to always, if you don't check it religiously, which, let's be honest, I'm not the greatest at, and I kind of forget about it at times, or I just have other things going on, you can burn the bottom real quickly. In the oven, I've noticed, doesn't really burn the bottom because it's just even heating throughout instead of a centralized flame underneath. Obtain beverage, 275 degree oven for 2 hours. Don't mind the mess on the stovetop because some spilled out while I was moving it around. After 2 hours in the oven, this is what we have, folks. Nice, thick, and we didn't have to use any thickeners, anything like that in this chili. Just nice, thick chili that, guess what? Nothing stuck to the bottom. So that is why I love doing it in the oven. Currently, kind of ran out of time, not gonna lie. It's late, and for whatever reason, my nose decided to stuff up. So even if I wanted to try and taste anything, I couldn't taste that well. So we are going to revisit this tomorrow, which guess what? It's just going to make it better and better because a soup, stew, and chili are always better the next day. So we'll see you all tomorrow. All right, and there you have it, folks. Some Firehouse chili. So while I was filming this, time management got a little bit away from me, and yeah, like I said, my nose decided to start stuffing up, which happens at times, and I just really couldn't taste anything, so had to pivot and move on to the next day. So heated this back up, and the smell in this place, and I did maybe sneak a little tiny bit of a taste, so I didn't have to do another dump. Letting it sit in the fridge for a day, those flavors all melded up, and whew, fantastic. If you want to serve it the same day, I would definitely, after the 2 hours in the oven at 275, take it out, let everything cool down a little bit so you can get that taste and see what you need to adjust the seasonings to. Maybe add a little more chili powder, maybe add a little more salt. Honestly, what I ever add is maybe some chili powder, maybe a little cayenne, or maybe a little smoked paprika, to depending on, do I want it smokier, do I want it hotter, do I want it more chili forward? This is just a quick little roadmap of, this is everything I kind of want out of a standard chili. You can put some pieces of chuck roast in here, which I have pieces of brisket, some sausage. Sky's the limit. Go crazy, do what you want with it. Really, with this base chili recipe, you can expand and make it however you want. But nothing left to do. Throw the spoon on the floor. All right, just washed it off. Nothing left to do but give it the old official taste test. Now, I'm going to give this a taste test without any of the condiments or toppings that I like to put on personally. What I like to put on my chili is sour cream, onions, cilantro, avocado, and then, hey, if I'm feeling crazy, maybe a little tortilla chips or Fritos. But throw cheese on there, go crazy. Go with whatever you feel. Crackers, sky's the limit. But, all right, nothing left to do but give it the old official taste test. Bottoms up. And if you can see, that's one of those massive pieces of meat. Remember, we didn't break them up, so you can just break them up yourself, like I just did there, or eat it as a little meatball. Bottoms up. Man, that just reminds me of a classic, delicious bowl of chili. It is hitting all of the notes that I want, that I could take this chili, I could put it on a hot dog, make a great chili cheese dog out of it. I could eat it plain like this. I could throw it on nachos. I could make it into chili cheese dip. This is unbelievably versatile. And I have to say that baking soda, water, salt, meat combination, that's kept it so incredibly juicy, and it got it crisp too on top of it. That little technique, I hope if there's nothing you take out of this, you know, there's chili recipes all over the place. I love this one. I think it's great. Choose, do whatever you want, and you know, keep experimenting with it. But the one thing I hope you do take out of this video is that baking soda, salt, water, meat, and let it sit for 20 minutes, because wow, does that make a massive, massive difference. But yeah, I hope you try this out and let me know what variations you go with. What are your favorite chili toppings? I told you mine of Archibald's in the background over there. Hi, buddy. I know in different regions too, some people put chili mac, put it on spaghetti. I'm curious as to how far-reaching these videos can get and who is interested in what I am putting out there. So again, greatly appreciate it, guys. Every time you come by, it's unbelievable to me. So yeah, let's keep this rolling and keep having a good time. And remember, you're only making food out of ingredients until you sit down and share them with the ones you love. Then it's a meal. All right, guys, greatly appreciate it. As always, can't thank you enough. Let's keep having fun and let's keep building this thing. All right. Feel free to like, subscribe, smash that notification bell. Think I'm getting better at this YouTube thing? Maybe. All right, till next time.